Welcome back to Old Idiot Fishing, guys. Tonight we're going to go through another how-to on fixing some of our stuff and making sure that we keep things running the right way. Stick with me. We're going to go through how we fix our Legacy iPilot remote when the battery starts to get a little wonky in it and it starts to lose connection. You're not going to want to miss this one. Stick around. Alright, welcome back. First things first, I want to give a huge shout out to the guys and gals over at trollingmotorparts.com. Like I said in a few of the earlier videos, I bought a Minn Kota Terrova Legacy iPilot that was busted on Facebook Marketplace. I put a few parts into it, got it back up and running. It's doing great, reads well with the remote. Trolling Motor Parts has been awesome to help me get everything I need to keep this thing in the water and keep it running. In fact, stick with the channel because tomorrow or in a couple days we're going to be replacing this information panel on the Terrova. This battery test button has done since fallen in and it needs to be fixed, so I want y'all to stick around, watch how that goes. But like I said earlier, we're talking about how we fix these Legacy iPilot remotes. If you look at this one, that battery door is pretty well chewed up. It is just the way I got it. I don't think it's all that waterproof anymore, so I want to make sure that I protect this equipment and keep it running because it's pretty vital when we're out on the water. And I need that thing to do what it's supposed to do to keep me from floating away. And I've seen a lot of people out there talk about how much spot lock has changed the game. It has. It's an older technology, but definitely one that when you have it, you want it to keep going for you. So let's work on getting this thing repaired and back out running. So I'm going to take that battery out of there. Go ahead, set that aside. We're going to need that later. That's still a brand new battery. It's good. We got a new battery door that's going to be going in here with all new fitment on it. This is Minn Kota OEM, and we're going to be taking this old battery back, or this old cover off as well, and replacing that with this brand new one. First things first, you got 6 Phillips head bolts on the back. You're going to need to get those out, and then we'll work on splitting that case. And if you guys are like me and you got one of these older Legacy deals, the remotes, I don't know if you've taken a look nowadays at what it costs to repair or to, replace one of these, but it's astronomical. You know, people are asking close to $1,000, you know, plus for the remote out there. And it makes sense, you know, it's an older technology. They don't make these remotes anymore. So the folks that have got them and they've still got them in working order, they've got a hot commodity that they can kind of command the market on for what they ask price-wise. But if you got some smarts, a little bit of know-how, and a little bit of willingness to do your own work, it's not that hard of a procedure to fix these things and keep them up and running. Get the last screw out of the case there. We'll go ahead and pop these things open. There is one more that I need to get up at the top. It's a safety set screw. And that looks like we are going to be dealing with a small star head. Alright, so that little set screw that's up at the top is a T10 Torx bit. We'll go ahead and get that removed and we should be able to split the case here. Take a look at what we've got for electrical connections inside and get our new case all fitted out. And with just a little bit of gentle love, that thing comes right apart. Now, one thing I do see here is I've got a little bit of fouling going on in there as a result of probably that old battery door not really holding on the best. So we're going to take a minute. I'm going to get some isopropyl alcohol. We're going to clean up these contacts and connections and get this thing back into the best working order that we can. It looks like it's pretty much just surface based, so I'm not super worried about it. But once we get that all cleaned up, this thing will take the new case, take the new battery back in there, and the new battery door, and it's going to be back working perfect. All right, we're using 70% isopropyl alcohol to do some of the cleaning on this. it dries really quick. It doesn't do a lot of damage to electronics, so you can feel free to kind of use it on unpowered electronics as a means to kind of clean things up and get things back working. So I just use a Q-tip, get it wet, get in there and kind of scrub, clean up, try and get some of that crap out of here so that we can keep this old girl working just as long as we possibly can, because I really don't want to spend $1,000 on a new or brand used remote if I don't have to. I mean, look at all the yuck coming off of that. Now, if you look at the way these batteries are, the top side is the positive, so these side rings are going to make contact with these two prongs here. This is the positive terminal for your remote. This is your negative terminal with that spring underneath. And we got to make sure that we don't have any bridged junk going between those two contact points. If we do, that can cause issues with the way the remote runs. And then if you see some of this electrolysis pitting here that goes on, that's just natural, especially when electronics get into contact with liquid. We want to try and take maybe a small screwdriver head or a small blade and very carefully get in there and try and scrape some of that corrosion away to make the most out of what we can with our connection points. I just want to go real light. I don't want to really be causing any kind of damage. I just want to try and remove some of that fouling to give us the best chance that we got a good battery connection that we can possibly have. If it doesn't make a whole lot of difference going in there and scraping, don't go too crazy at it. You just want to make sure that there's some new exposed metal coming up from that corrosion that's going to give you a chance to be able to get that best battery connection you can have. Once you feel good about it, I mean, I'm looking here and where we've cleaned it, I don't see any of that black yuckiness anymore in between here. I look like I've got fairly decent metal exposed on the positive side for the battery terminals. I've got really decent metal exposed again down here for the negative. I think we're good to start putting this case back together with the new components. And having a multi-bit screwdriver is awesome. Like, you can flip back and forth quite quickly to do what it is that you need to do. So you're gonna take your new case, line it up, make sure that you've got good exposure on both positive tabs and good exposure on that negative coming through. You want decent fitment when you put everything back together. You want those seals to bind back together. And that's important to think about too when you go to tighten these case screws down. There are little gaskets underneath on them. Don't go screwing them down so super tight that you mush that gasket out of there, because then you're going to end up with a potential spot for liquid to get in around that case. So pick any corner, get it snugged down, and then I want you to go to the opposite corner. Snug it down over there. We're doing a cross pattern bolt tightening so that we can kind of distribute that pressure evenly across this inner gasket that runs all the way around the remote. Now I'm going to go back to the corner directly to the side of the last one I put in, get that snugged down, draw that case up, skip a little. I like the way that one felt. Alright, that's good. Alright, we'll go back up here. Sorry, I'm getting my hands up there in the view. Now we should have even distribution of the pressures across this case going that way. Do the last two. And then we got to remember our last case screw that Torx T10 up in the top. Do a quick change up back to the T10. Land that up here. And just get everything nice and snug. You don't have to go like super crazy on these things. We're not trying to reef everything together, right? We'll take our new O-ring, put that around the bottom of this new battery door. Make sure that it sits nice and flush. Take our battery, put it back in. There we go. Line our new battery door up and get that locked down. Close our battery door, and we are all buttoned up. After it's all put back together, you want to give it a good test. Make sure things light up, and then to make sure that it's still talking. If you didn't change any of the components inside the circuit board, it should still talk to your trolling motor just fine. So, ultimate test is getting it out there, making sure that it does what it's supposed to do. So, a little bit of a teaser. You can see here on that info plate where I had to put some tape over that battery test button. Like I say, stick around with the channel. We're going to go through on how to fix this and show that it is really a simple repair. Not a whole lot to it. Get you back being able to use all the buttons on there like you need to. But to test out our repair on our trolling motor, I need to deploy this thing and make sure that it still talks with the head. So there we go. Open it up, turns it on. We'll go with the deploy. Hit our button. There we go. Now let's make sure. She's spinning there. And in case you guys want to see it, she's spinning down there. It's good. Now let's make sure we can anchor lock. There it is. Anchored on. Perfect. Just a little bit of work. A little bit of willingness to do it, and to be honest, a little bit of not being super afraid of what you might run into out there. And you guys can do this too. With just a little work, we've got a brand new case, and we've given this thing a new lease on life. So don't be afraid to get in there and do some of the work on stuff like this on your own. You can save yourself a ton of money and a ton of headaches. Thanks for sticking with us on this how-to video, guys. I appreciate you, love you. Smash that like, smash that subscribe, hit that bell notification so you get updates on when new videos are coming out. And be kind, be honest, take care of each other out there.